Hello. Okay. Lion and tiger greet you. They're very outside things. And I just recorded a little short journal, about 4 minutes. And I was doing the write-up to go with it, as I always do. I know some of you click over to Scribd and read them. And I'm going to record the written one as well. It came out, well, you'll see as I read it. It came out being worthy of its own recording. So, been a while since I did this, but here we go. And we'll see if I can keep my written stuff and recorded stuff straight. Okay, this morning as my glance was caught by the picture of Papaji I have as my computer background image, I felt that special sensation in the heart area. Try as I might, it's no use. There's no more Papaji existing for me externally. He is now completely within. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It may be a bit strange, but actually, it's marvelous. It's a very special, a warm sort of feeling in there. It's rather like a light coming on, or something not so easy to describe, so don't get lost in the words. They're meaningless. Be in heart and let it be your guide. Everything in life that we can see or we can touch is not real, or rather, it has no ultimate reality. It's a part of Maya, the illusion. Made of empty atoms, it's not even physically real. How can it be? Each atom being 99.99999% empty or absent? It's really just empty space with a wee bit of substance thrown in. I know, that's not what we see at all. Well, have you considered that your mind might be more like a computer and the world more of a virtual reality than something that's real in its own right? Who knows? Maybe in the grand scheme of things, that's why the computer was invented and such virtual games, so that we could show to ourselves in a sort of reflective or backhanded way how things really work. Who's to say? How wide open is your mind today? Are you letting the fresh breezes blow in? Is one of your favorite beliefs that simply anything is possible, like mine is? I find that helps a lot with being wide open to what is, or to what I perceive. Now, we don't realize how very much our perceptions are guided and controlled by the beliefs we hold. We're not used to thinking of the brain as a computer, but if we did, even allegorically, it would help. How would it help? Well, we know something of how computers work. We know that any instructions given to them will be carried out without doubt. If we can see our beliefs as computer programs or routines, then we can begin to realize what a difference they make. In this case, the RAM, or random access memory, would be like the conscious mind. It's what the computer is, quote unquote, consciously aware of at any particular time. And it's always changing depending on what's being done in the moment. The hard drive would be the place of the mind's treasures, I guess, the subconscious and the unconscious parts. I hadn't figured out the superconscious yet, so I left it out of the picture. So the subconscious and unconscious are there, but their data, their info is not in conscious awareness until called upon by some program or routine we're running. We're constantly writing to the hard drive and it interacts with RAM in the background, but we're not generally aware, not consciously aware of what's there. Thoughts in this allegory are commands to the system, whereas beliefs are programs created by many repeated thoughts along the same lines, something like that. Repeated thought goes together to create the belief. Stray thought commands can be dealt with more easily than belief programs, which are more deeply embedded. As anyone knows, we can't produce on the screen or monitor anything not contained in the computer. Hello. It doesn't produce miracles or random output. Absent programs to do something like that, computers are fairly reliable. The quote-unquote reality they create for us is strictly based on their contents. Change the contents, that changes the screen output. Simple, right? Well, what about the mind? Can we see it like that? If we can make room for the realization of how hugely magnificent we are as divine beings, then I think we can. It's necessary to get rid of all ideas and beliefs that you are something less than divine. These are rogue programs, actually viruses inserted by the powers that were, the hackers, intent on having their way with us. Time to do our own internal virus scan. So send the command into your system to find, gather up, and eliminate all programs and data that say you are less than divine. Delete the whole lot. You'll be so much better off, even if you feel a bit strange for a while. It will be something new, not walking around with all that virus software running in the background, weighing your true system down, impinging upon your true divine abilities and your speed. Your frequency will rise. For a start now, that may be enough. It helps to strictly go by your heart with these things. If you do too much all at once, you may put yourself into an unstable and uncomfortable state. Keep your feet firmly planted in heart as you go, and all will always be fine. Heck, all is fine anyway, no matter what you do. It's just a matter of how enjoyable a ride you want to have. Other scans you'll want to run whenever the time seems right to you are as follows. 1. Check for all commands, routines, subroutines, and data that indicate that life is anything less than perfect. Delete upon discovery. 2. Clear out all sense of limitation found anywhere in anything as it relates to you. Replace it with awareness that you are strictly a divine being. No limits at all. 3. Seek out all info and programming that says you are subject to misery, anger, depression, resentment, and any and all of the rest of the negative states. Replace with suitable programming that puts you in command as the divine being of such states, aware that you are not that. Finally, when you're good and ready, run the scan that seeks out all that makes you believe that anything external to you has any solid reality of any kind, and eliminate that. The only true reality is found within, in the kingdom of heart. You have a direct line to Source, to God there, as well as self-awareness of being divine. Perhaps the command structure for your mind computer is really within you, in heart. I don't know. I just know that if you could even just once look upon the world as being only virtually real, that would be huge. That would lay down the program that could lead to a real awakening along these lines. Sure, you'd have to run it a few times, but each time you did, it would go deeper into memory, reinforcing the original program experience. Sometimes one experience can completely wake someone up. Papaji often says that if we could just stop everything for one moment, one short instant, a finger snap as he calls it, and simply be still, quiet, and still, that would be enough to awaken. You're already awake. You just need to realize that you are and accept. And sometimes it happens like that. One never knows when it will. He didn't even know. It was always a delight and a surprise when someone would wake up right there in front of him. I will close with something about going into heart that came to me yesterday, something I haven't shared with you. When you enter heart, you step out of time. There's literally no time there inside. Time is a limit. There are no limits within. You're in a magical kingdom, as I often say, and time is no part of it. While there, you are subject to no rules around time and none around space. You are any when and anywhere source or higher self chooses for you. Now, to those in mind, that last bit will be frustrating. Having things chosen by source. You want to be in control all the time. Well, all I can say is let that go. That's mind. And mind being in control is a handicap here, not a help. You're not fully in heart if you're in this state, having such thoughts. Just let them go. Let go and let God, as the saying goes. Eventually, we find that each and everything, every event, even every thought is chosen for us with infinite perfection and divine perception. It's also amazingly perfect that it often takes the breath away, but we've got to be allowing this. Our free will won't be violated, not even to bring blessings our way, not by the divine. It must be our choice. It's the powers that were and the dark side that violate free will. Surely by now it is clear that Heart Kingdom is a truly different realm. It bears no resemblance to being in mind. Just about everything that could be different about it is different. Yet, none of this will be noticed on the outside of us. Well, does using the computer make it look different in some way, depending upon what program you run? Only the screen display changes, and the screen represents your virtual reality being created by the programming inside. The computer itself remains the same. So it is with each of us who awaken to this. And precious few among our acquaintance will be able to see and understand the difference in us. And those that can will simply sense it rather than see it because they are within their own hearts. They will sense that we've changed, and the rest will be blind, dumb, and deaf to it. So be very careful what you choose to share and with whom. Don't let mind be in charge. There's no problem here, really, for once we get good at following heart, letting go and being danced, then we'll always do and say just the right things, part of that perfection. There will be no more need for concern about such things. The concern will vanish away. We'll be fully in the arms of God, of Source at all times. Sure, our avatar in the game, in the program, our body mind is still human, and it will make some mistakes. Actually, though, those aren't really mistakes. They're remnants or vestiges of the programs being run. It's fine for the body to have drives, desires, and tendencies of its own. They're built in. It's no sign of imperfection to be imperfect. In other words, open your vision and check to see if it's not part of the overall plan. Designed right in. Our minds have been programmed with this phony, ultra perfect sense of what perfection is or should be. And we're very judgmental around that. There's supposedly no one who can step up to being perfect but God or his Son in the flesh. Well, this was done to take it out of our reach. Can you see this? Jesus, nor Buddha, nor Mohammed, nor anyone was humanly perfect. They all made what they would call mistakes. It's been taken out of the records, though, part of the programming. Now, people's interior programming will run against this, against seeing it. They won't be open to believe it if they're too heavily programmed by what we call religion. And that is their choice of what programming to run. Let them be, is what I say. My belief is that all of the information should be out there and available to one and all. Then let each one choose as they will. Let there be no forcing of any kind, no one exerting their will over another. That's a misuse of free will. Let each one run your own life and leave others alone to run theirs. If they have a question for you, they'll ask it. If not, hush. Can we come to this point of overall respect for one another? I dearly hope that we can. I think most of us can do this, but again, it must be a consciously made choice. Our tendencies will run in other directions, largely or even completely due to the programming we've taken on board. It's mind that does this forcing thing. Our job is not to police others, but to see to our own data, our own programs, our own functioning. What we'll find when we do this is that the others will change. This can't be explained, so I won't bother to try. I'll just report. The move from mind-based to heart-centered living is huge and all-encompassing while it's going on. It leaves nothing untouched. And this is enough to keep us quite busy with the self interiorly for quite a long time. And what we'll find when we turn our attention back out to the world after a long while inside is that somehow everything's changed. Well, we're rather silly, really. Ultimately, the only thing that's changed is us. It's just that we gave some sort of reality, some kind of real outer existence to the things in our world when they're not that. We are the true reality, my friends. We project the world. Let this knowledge be the goad that keeps you from tampering in your brother's life. Your brother himself is a mirage, my dear. The kingdom is within. Go there and stay there long enough to make this major change head to heart. Then, when you emerge, you will be so pleasantly surprised by how all is changed. What you'll be looking at then will still be the very same self,